Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Friend or Foe series. I am your friendly neighborhood Shockcaster Shargan. I've got War Leader joining me on the caster's desk today. And War Leader, how are you doing?
You know, I'm doing alright. It's been a long one, but I'm ready to sit down and cast some League of Legends. So let's hop into this draft.
Absolutely. So stoked.
So even though this game doesn't have any playoff implications, these teams will be fighting for their honor. And of course, that is the most important thing when it comes to FOF is the ego boost. So that's what they're going to be playing for today. So far, we're going to see some junglers taken away from Dax, taking away that Xin Zhao and that Jarvan, two very popular picks. BBZ is going to be attacking the global pressure, taking away the Shen and the Galio.
And then that Nunu ban as well is also really, really important. Mostly just because of the fact that Nunu is an absolute monster. Just straight up.
Absolutely. This champion's just good.
He's very, very strong. Got a great amount of CC, great amount of AP damage. It gets really frustrating. And then that heal is absolutely ridiculous if you don't itemize into it. So you've got to make sure that you're watching out for that. Regardless, though, I am really excited to see that they did let the Amumu go through, and we are seeing it picked up by skill base. So clearly, Blue Bayou is not afraid of it, and skill base is aware of its potential. So they're trying to pick that up right away, getting it onto Kevin. We've seen him do very well with hook supports, so I'm looking forward to seeing him do some work on that.
Yep, and then BBZ is just going to counter up with the Misfortune. It's a really good pairing into the Amumu, so they're just going to pick the Misfortune to make sure to deny that really powerful bot lane from skill base. And Bard is actually coming through from Songo. I think it's a really interesting pick to potentially counter the Amumu's lane pressure by picking something that just absolutely abandons the lane, trusts that Tef is going to play safe on this Misfortune and not get caught out, and really just have this Bard go across the map to counteract Amumu's lane pressure.
Not to mention the stun will be like just you hit him, like you throw it out, and it's gonna just hit whatever is front of him and hit the target behind, get that stun off. I absolutely despise bards anytime I'm playing an engaged support, so it's a great counter to that. Picking up the Dr. Mundo though does mean that they will at least have one member in front who, if their front line gets hit by the bard stun early on in that fight, will still be able to keep on going. So that's a good choice right there. It'll be interesting to see how they decide to pair it up with the rest of this. Picking up the Lysandra for Theracles would be a very good choice, considering how we've seen him perform on that champion before.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a little surprised to see skill-base take both solo lanes without seeing anything from the side of BBZ, but these are two champions that we know that Royshal and Theracles are very comfortable on, so not too surprised to see skill-base picked it up. They're going to be counter-picking that bot lane in the second phase of the game, and maybe hoping to ban out some counter matchups as we get to the second phase advance. It looks like Garen is going to be the answer into Dr. Mundo. Nope, they're going to swap it over to the Kale.
Or swap, but nope, Garen is what they're going to go with.
Yep, so I actually think that Garen and Dr. Mundo is pretty solid because kind of a tanky boy, doesn't rely too much on the silent CC that Dr. Mundo denies. So something I can probably pressure Mundo and force him to play back at CS with cleavers.
Yep, sometimes you just got to go with the basic spin to win combo, like just straight up that's what works. I do like the fact that it's clear that skill base feels very comfortable with their Mumu pick because it could also be flexed into jungle, so they're kind of waiting to see what they decide to ban out on the side of BBZ, and whatever Zishan picks up, he's been performing pretty well with Kevin in the bot lane, so it's kind of one of those things where they're like, look, it'll be fine if they ban out his champ pool because he's got enough that he'll be able to do just fine. I think that's a confidence showcase on the side of skill base there.
For sure. I like taking away the Malzahar. Skill base took that away, and I really like that because you've shown that your mid laner and your top laner aren't exactly carry picks. So you're going to have very limited damage, and you want to take away that single target lockdown that can really deny that single carry type of composition. Meanwhile, BBZ is going to take away Vayne and Tristana. These are two champions that really scale into the game, and if your game plan is to abandon the bot lane, I think it's really important to take away champions like this that scale really hard into the game, and Tristana especially, because having this other big engage tool onto your MF that might be alone for a while is pretty important to keep her safe. It looks like BBZ might lock in Udyr as their choice of jungle, but actually they're hovering Talon, recently received buffs. I'm very excited to see this.
Yeah, that could be either a Talon jungle or Talon in the mid lane. Either way, it's a good pickup. Lots of roaming pressure that'll be available for the side of BBZ. I was actually going to say the stuff you were saying about Tristana, I was going to say about Vayne, where because of the way she scales into the late game, would make her really good into the Bard and the Garen, just because the 3-shot auto will just do so much damage to those massive health pools. And it would just allow her to take out that front line that much quicker. So we see Zishan picking up the Caitlyn. I think that's a good choice into the Misfortune because you just completely outrange her. So you'll be able to pepper with autos, not to mention you set up your traps correctly. And because of the fact that, like you said, Bard is going to abandon bot lane. That's just what Bard does. He does Bard things and goes where he wants to go. And that means he's going to be leaving his laner alone. So any type of tool that Zishan and Kevin can have in order to engage really hard onto that bot lane, then Misfortune while she's alone, is going to be really important.
Yeah, I actually think that BBZ may have planned for the Caitlyn. It's a champion that Zishan really likes to play. And the bot lane indicates that they kind of want to sacrifice the laning phase portion of the bot lane anyway. So putting Zishan in a champion that has a big trough in that mid game might be exactly what BBZ was looking to do. So we'll have to see how that works. Skill-based is going to pick up Sejuani, which I think is a really weird last pick because it doesn't really have much synergy with the composition that skill-based have draft, but at least they have some melee champions that go deep. And BBZ is going to finish out their draft with an Aurelion Soul.
Space Dragons are in the house. I love it. I love it so much. Oh my goodness. I am excited to see what Red does with this Aurelion Soul. I am just super happy like you don't even know.
I love Aurelion Soul. Such a cool champion that we really just haven't seen that much. So we're going to have to see how that works as we get into the game shortly here. The composition that BBZ has is very roaming oriented, using the Aurelion Soul and the Bard to get across the map. And if they can use that to their potential, they can beat out the potentially scary team fight that skill-based have to offer.
And I'm going to be looking forward to seeing this right here because we are going to have a hard engage, I think, from the side of BBZ. One thing I absolutely love about Aurelion Soul is the fact you cannot hide with it, like at all. You sit in a bush and your stars are still very visible. I know that there's some people who've complained about that, where it's like, come on, can't he be allowed to hide in a bush? It's like, well, yes, you do that, then he can just pepper you with hits, and you're like, what is hurting me?
Well, we've got this nice game of musical chairs going on here. We're going to have to see who ends up out as both teams invade the bottom side of the jungle, get the vision, and go, wait, there's no one here. I know where they are.
Jaffe getting a nice stun off there on Kevin and Zishan. That was really funny because I feel like Jaffe, like they knew the fact that skill-based was on that side, but it didn't want to quite reveal themselves, and unfortunately he stepped out just a little bit too far. Either way, good vision getting placed. So this whole bot side, they're going to know each other's clears. Basically, it's going to start playing a Dax versus Lucky Fridge game. I do believe that the clear on the side of BBZ is going to be a little bit quicker on the single target camps. So that should help Dax get slightly ahead of this Sejuani.
Potentially. Sejuani also has a really solid clear, especially if she spec'd into the precision tree. Picking up Legend Alacrity and the attack speed early game really helps stack that passive. One thing I want to point out real quick, well, I probably won't get a chance to, is like,
nope, because we've already got an engaged flash coming out. As Tef is gonna get hit pretty hard, and he's not gonna get stunned though, because not enough auto attacks are coming out. But that is a good way to start this game, and I can already tell these teams are out for blood.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see the flash blown that early into the gank, looking to trade the flash, but only gets the ghost off of the Aurelion Soul. So maybe not quite what Fridge was hoping for, but a gank nonetheless. Tef is just going to heal that off with the potions, but the potions burned early should give Theracles a little bit more bite in this laning phase. I want to point out role swaps on the side of BBZ. Their normal support Orphic has swapped with their top laner Jaffe, so Jaffe will be piloting the Bard and Orphic will be piloting the Garen. Meanwhile, Red and Tef have swapped positions as well, so we're going to see Tef play the Aurelion Soul and Red's Misfortune in the bot lane.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of interesting because Red has been doing some solid work in the mid lane, and I know again, I feel like that at this point they're just trying to play a comfortable game of League of Legends where everyone feels like they're in the positions they want. So returning him to the bot lane, probably because that's where he wants to be, is going to be kind of interesting. We do see some fighting going on here in the top side as we have Theracles engaging onto Tef right now, and so we did see like off screen Sejuani having to jump over a wall to avoid getting pincered by the Garen and the Talon. So almost a kill up there.
Yeah, initially Lucky Fridge wasn't respecting.
Ooh, Dax, you're getting yourself caught out, but jumping away.
Yeah, ultimately Lucky Fridge is going to secure that top Scuttle Crab and will have the health bar and the speed. Moving down to that bottom side Scuttle Crab, Smite doesn't look to be up for another good 30 seconds, so Dax should have the advantage with their Smite coming up in 15. But with bot lane prio belonging to skill-based, I would think that Lucky Fridge is going to pick up 2 Scuttle Crabs here.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice for the side of skill-based right there. We do have a nice engage right here in the bot lane. Lucky Fridge is already getting ignited, so that's a lot of damage coming out. Dax is going to be the first to go down, but at the same time, right behind that, it's going to be Lucky Fridge as he gets taken out by the Bard. We've got a TP coming out as well really early as Orphic has decided to come join this. Garen is basically being able to chase this down. Zishan trying to get some damage off, but he's going to get caught out. We got the spin to win coming right here. A couple of flashes getting blown, and that is going to be Caitlyn going down as well as Garen. Way to go. Lots of damage coming out. Tef and Jaffe escaping under the turret, and they're going to get away, and that is going to be a 2-for-2 for this game.
Yeah, really interesting fight breaking out there over the Scuttle Crab, and ultimately neither jungler is here to pick it up just yet. Though, Theracles getting caught out by Dax.
Jumped on by Dax. See, that is why you got to be so afraid of a Talon, because he can just roam around that map insanely quickly.
When you're at half health and you don't have a flash, you just have to be careful of anywhere that Talon could be. Vision's going to be really important to track a jungler this mobile, and the lack of vision there means Theracles goes down, likely going to burn that teleport to get back to the mid lane, denying Dax shoving it in. And yeah, so far we see a very slight lead for BBZ, finding it specifically off the pick onto Theracles. Summoner spells pretty in favor of BBZ as well, although most everything is down right now except the flash from Royshal and the flash from Jaffe in that bot lane.
Yeah, I was about to say that 9 summoner spells had been burned during that fight, but I'm not entirely sure if you would consider the Smite a burnt summoner spell at this point. A little bit later when it actually starts affecting champions, you certainly could. So that is an insane amount of resources that were taken away. Look at this. We got a nice portal coming through from Bard right there. Is going to allow them to catch out Kevin. Kevin's going to go down very quickly. And Dax, in the meanwhile, is going to run away. But at the same time, Lucky Fridge is continuing this fight. He's trying to take down this Bard, but Bard is just so tanky and just able to run away. It's really frustrating. That was a lot of damage coming out from Zishan as he was attacking this More Fortune under tower, who unfortunately stepped far enough away that they were not able to get there in time. Jaffe flashing over the wall right into Theracles, but we got the star call from Tef blocking him off, so he's not able to pick up the kill.
Yep, Tef's heroics are going to save Jaffe's life after a really long skirmish and chase down by Lucky Fridge, trying to secure onto Bard, and not quite going to get there. But meanwhile, Zishan, the benefactor of First Blood this game, utilizing that gold lead to catch Red by surprise, doing tons of damage in surprisingly little amount of time. That is the Caitlyn special.
And it's, it's kind of funny because the Space Dragon has decided to deem us with his presence just by shrinking himself down to limit his power just enough to barely help Tef escape.
Yep. So far, if we look across
like
the lanes, we look across the lanes, we see that in terms of CS, the Garen is very slightly ahead of the Mundo, but it's just about dead even. Talon is about 3 camps up on the Sejuani. The Saunders beating out the Aurelian Soul by a solid wave.
Meantime, Zishan's getting caught out. See, right here, we've got a nice engage coming out. Dax jumping over the wall right there. He's basically a Kane at this point. He's able to get on top of Zishan, taking him out, getting himself the kill. Dax using those daggers to great effectiveness. Kevin, though, he's going to pick something up. He's going to get taken out as well as Tef picks up that one. And that is going to be the misfortune taken out during that fight. And oh my goodness, we can already see BBZ starting to pull ahead of skill-based.
Oh yeah, even though Red is just a little too aggressive, standing too close to an Amumu, that's only a silver lining of what was kind of a disaster from the side of skill-based. You know that Zishan is going to be the win condition for this team. So seeing him go down so early is not great. You know, we respected the roaming potential of BBZ's team comp.
Theracles getting caught out. He got stunned a couple of times right there. One's by the Jeffy and one's by the Tef, and that is going to be an Ignite coming out, but it's not going to be enough as he's able to get away. But in the meantime, Lucky Fridge chasing this down. He's going to get hit by this first part of that stun, not going to get locked in place. He's going to get slowed down, and that Dragon is going to get taken out, and that's going to be Mountain over to the side of Blue Bayou with the Infernal coming up next.
Yep, Zishan trying for some 1v4 heroics to take that Dragon. Not quite good enough to beat out a Smite, as that is going to be an objective secured for BBZ. We were talking about the roaming potential of this BBZ composition, and we've seen it time and time again now. Both having a Talon and the Aurelion Soul come to the bot lane, having the Bard come to the mid lane, Garen teleporting down for some antics. BBZ's entire composition can be anywhere at any time, and you really need to respect it. Like right now, when Dax is coming down bot lane.
Exactly. He's already decided to parkour his way down here. Kevin, though, saw him, decides to hit him with the first bandage toss, stun him in place, making him realize, maybe this isn't what I want to be doing. You know, one thing I want to talk about with this Theracles on the Lysandra, into the Aurelion Soul, he does have an advantage being able to get inside those stars in order to avoid a lot of the damage that Aurelion Soul is able to put out. So I think that could theoretically help him as these fights progress, but you got to get yourself some items first.
Yeah, for now, it's actually going to be a pretty big advantage in the laning phase, while Aurelion Soul doesn't have teammates to help peel Lysandra off from getting on top of him. So we've seen it a couple times, so we've seen Theracles build a pretty solid CS lead off of that, being able to deny a lot of the DPS that Tef can put out. At the same time, as we get later in these fights, I actually think that's going to be harder to pull off because of things like
nice engage by Kevin, but unfortunately Zishan's just too far away.
Look for
and
the
we got the
shots.
flash coming out from Orphic onto Royshal. Royshal deciding to flash away as well. You know, it's one thing that's kind of interesting with this Amumu update, or not Amumu, this Mundo update, is that we are not seeing a lot of, I'm blanking, immediate stuns popping his CC blocker. They're all slows, silences, and things of that nature. So he's keeping that passive up, which unfortunately means for him that he's just not able to utilize that to an effective level.
Yep, so right there we're going to see that Dax burns everything, get the Mundo out of the lane, try and shore up some things for the Garen matchup into him. We're now going to see Garen pull away in the CS lead by about 11-12 now. Of course, that wave's going to crash as 4 members of Skillbase go up into the bot side.
Skillbase is using a lot of time down here. They do have the Rift Arrow coming out. Theracles decided to continue that engage. That is a good job. He was able to do it before the Bard's Magical Journey is actually able to come off. So there we go. Zishan using it to get on the back line, trying to get himself a nice flank, but unfortunately walks right into the stars of the Space Dragon, and he's just going to get peppered, but he's able to hang outside with that sniper rifle. Royshal coming in to protect him, keep Dax off. This fight, though, completely goes in the side of BBZ as they manage to clean it up, but that's going to be the bot tower gone as Zishan's just going to kind of hover over and pick up a nice stack of gold for it.
Yep, we see that Orphic is the first on the draw with the teleport, and that makes all the difference. Zishan's getting caught out by the
Good
assassin.
prediction on the location of Dax, but it's not going to matter, my friend, as you've already started to bleed. This fight's not going to go your way. Trying to get some damage up, but unfortunately they're just going to fall as the assassin takes him out.
Yep, once again, we're seeing every member of BBZ can be anywhere, wherever they want, and as a result, these fights are going in their favor because of the resources that Skillbase are committing early on in the fight. It means that when the second wave of reinforcements come in from Tef, from Orphic, it means that there's very little Skillbase can do to protect themselves.
And we got a nice little support roam happening together as they're just kind of holding hands, going on a journey together through this bot side jungle, not really doing too much against each other just because of the nature of their comp. Unfortunately for poor old Lucky Fridge right there, he did not have his armor back, so he was slowed by the Misfortune's Bullet Storm, so they're just going to have to walk away.
Yep, we're going to see this dragon come up here in about 40 seconds, and I think that's where we're going to see our next fight, unless BBZ pull off a pretty crazy roam like they've been doing.
Nice, but use of Theracles trying to avoid getting hit by that claw, trying to avoid getting caught out, but unfortunately you've got the assassin right there, the Noxian assassin right there, means that the flash is going to have to be burned, so that is gone again, and that is going to put poor old Theracles a little bit behind.
But who else is going to be behind? It's Zishan.
Oh no, Zishan getting caught by a massive star call. He's going to get taken out immediately as the judgment comes down on his head. Orphic and the Theracles using the teleport to a disastrous event as he's just going to get completely caught out by 4 members of BBZ. Unfortunately, you cannot cancel that anymore.
Nope. I mean, you saw what Tef did earlier to save Jaffe. Theracles thinks that he can use that teleport to save the life of his top laner, and it is all for naught. The situation is not savable, and ends up donating another kill over to BBZ, who are now up to a solid 3,000 gold lead. The response, though, while they make a 4-man play on the top side, is that Lucky Fridge does go down, pick up the Infernal Drake, so it's not for nothing, but BBZ is getting so much gold off that top tower right now.
Yeah, they're just getting all those tower plates. The tower plates do eventually fall, though, which means that they're actually able to finish taking off the tower. Now, here's the thing about Caitlyn. Caitlyn's able to pepper so much damage into this Garen right now. They're already doing crits on a fairly regular basis, so that's getting pretty nasty. Unfortunately, here's the thing about Talon. He just needs to jump on you once, and after you've been silenced, it's going to be real easy for him to do that. He's going to pick up a kill right there. We've got the Mumu trying to use the Curse of the Sad Mummy, but it's not going to be enough, as unfortunately it's just a little too late.
Yep, in order for skill base to be able to beat BBZ here, they really need to take advantage and respect their vision. When you don't have vision of the enemy, you should assume that they are on top
jumping
of you.
right onto Red, managed to drop the Frozen Prison on top of him, but unfortunately they are going to get taken out because they've got Jaffe coming up behind, getting a nice stun off.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just what I was saying. If you don't see an enemy on your map, you have to assume they are right behind you. Theracles isn't ready for how fast Jaffe can be there, and as a result, totally gets caught out on a play that I'm sure Theracles thought was going to be a nice free solo kill for him.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Once again, we've got Dax returning to the jungle, just widening his lead. I was completely wrong about how quickly he was going to be able to take those camps. He is taking them way faster than Sejuani.
Absolutely, and I haven't seen much of Talon with the buffs, but you also have to credit the fact that Talon is very far up in items right now compared to the Sejuani. He has a lot more map control, and Kevin stepping a little far forward, but Mumu's tanky enough to not get caught by that.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about it too much. And again, honestly, it's funny with this bot lane, top laners fighting in the bot lane. It's still very much a pool noodle fight where they're just kind of smacking each other with these health bars.
But when it comes down to it right now, it is the Garen that is very far ahead, benefiting from the roaming that BBC's comp is doing. Heavy trading both in the bottom and the middle lane. We'll see if it results in any kills.
Now we can see Garen just deciding to try and dive under tower. He's able to tank a couple of shots. He's getting exceptionally low. He may have overstayed his welcome, unfortunately. Roy Shaw looking to pick this up. He's chasing down the Garen. Garen's just going to flash over the wall, but he's going to see the flash coming out from Roy Shaw to get the shutdown gold. Good call on him. Good use of abilities right there. Mundo is able to pick himself up some shutdown gold, get himself back into this game.
Yep, good call. Gets Mundo the money.
Ooh,
we're seeing a skirmish
from Jaffe, getting a little spicy right there. Dax, in the meantime, is going to show Kevin what Noxian Diplomacy is like as he jumps right on top of him, picking up a nice bit of damage. The Rake is going to come out, but it's not going to be enough as we see Zishan able to get away, but BBZ Red is able to pick up the kill. Misfortune getting herself some gold. Just the Pirate Queen showing why she's so dangerous and needs to be feared. Jaffe, though, he's able to get a nice stun off. Theracles is waiting in the wings. Good use by Zishan to get the shutdown gold. That's going to be the Bullet Storm coming out from Red to pick up a double kill as he takes down Theracles. And then in the meantime, we have another fight going on and a triple kill going over to BBZ Red. And they are showing why they were such a powerful ADC and basically just starting to spread this gap even wider.
Yeah, it's really starting to get to the point where it's going to be an out-of-control lead for BBZ. They currently have 5,000 gold in 17 minutes. Quite a bit. They have started the dragon stacking with 1. Lucky Fridge is able to pick up that Infernal, but it's not going to mean too much. And right now is a really dangerous part of the game to be this far behind, because Caitlyn is starting to enter the power trough between 1 and 3 items, where Caitlyn really struggles as a champion to output damage. And this is one of the weaknesses of skill-based comp, is that at this point of the game, their damage is really in a lot of these base damages, and like Dr. Mundo and the Amumu. Caitlyn does some, Lissandra does some, Sejuani does a little bit, but ultimately there's no like big powerhouse of damage.
We got Zishan getting frozen under tower, and unfortunately Noxian Diplomacy is just not something you can mess around with. It just shows you exactly what's going to happen, and that is going to be your death. The weak get taken out by the strong, and that is what BBZ is right now.
Yeah, we're just seeing time and time again that skill-based are just being caught unaware by the roaming potential of BBZ's composition. And once again, we're going to see many members of skill-based go down because they simply aren't ready for 4 members of BBZ to show up out of nowhere.
Yeah, and with this Rift Herald push, it's going to be really bad for skill base. Unfortunately, that also means that the Drake is going to fall, and that's going to go over to BBZ as well. Theracles trying to do some work here in the top lane, but unfortunately, just a little bit too far behind, and so he's going to get taken out. And with this third Drake falling, we now see the game at 9-24. Unfortunately, I don't see much of a route back into this game for skill-based, but there is still a possibility with the fact that a lot of these champions on the side of BBZ are melee. Potentially Zishan can kite them out.
Yep, it's going to take a lot of gold to get Zishan to that point there. Having 7 deaths already, just 19 minutes into the game, very far behind now on this Caitlyn, going to need a lot of help, especially...
Jax running out, the Shadow Assault's going to drop down, Noxian Diplomacy's not going to be able to convince Zishan what's going on, but at the same time, the Space Dragon is going to try and do it himself. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter, as we see that it's going to be the Bard's Call that's going to take out the Caitlyn. Caitlyn's going to fall. Unfortunately, Bard's going to fall as well, and we see right now, Skill-Base trying to put out some work. They're doing a good job of getting some extra damage out. The Judgment's going to fall on someone's head, but there again, Roshal's going to fall, but in the end, it is going to be an ace going over for Blue Bayou, and Skill-Based has just been gapped so hard.
Yeah, I don't understand what skill-based is doing at this point. They understand what BBZ wants to do. They're roaming around the map, waiting for someone to overextend and executing them. And then we see Zishan immediately walk up to the mid lane turret, so BBZ's just like, well, we've already done this 5 times, might as well do it again. And Zishan, granted, One Lucky Fridge does a great job to peel Zishan for a while, but it's not enough. And with Zishan going down, the rest of SKL drops soon after. Credit to them for the fighting. I think they got a lot done with the tools they had to make that a 3 for 5. But really, they're just getting caught in these unfortunate situations over and over and over again because they're pushing up so aggressively.
Blue Bayou is being exceptionally aggressive, and I really feel like right here we got the Shadow Assault coming out once again. Zishan taking an exceptional amount of damage, and unfortunately Dax is going to take them out again as he's going to get assassinated. Kevin just not able to heal enough, and the rest of Blue Bayou is going to come in and just absolutely decimate the rest of skill-based, as we see in the bot lane, Garen chasing down the Dr. Mundo. Lucky Fridge is trying to get away. He's just barely going to get under the tower, but that's really of no protection for him.
Yep. Insanity is described as doing the same thing over and over again, and they're expecting different results. And Zishan is continually, for maybe the 3rd time in a row, immediately walked up to the mid lane tower in the mid lane, gets some damage off on it, gets some CS, and then immediately gets collapsed on by 4 members of BBZ. And it's happened time after time after time. It's the 3rd time in a row that I just watched it happen. And with that going down, it's going to be Baron going over to the side of BBZ. Great play on them.
Theracles looking to make a play, though. He's going to drop down the Frozen Tomb, but unfortunately, it's not going to deal enough damage. In the meantime, Lucky Fridge on the backline trying to dive in. He's going to get caught up by the Bullet Storm, so the Boar is going to get taken out as well. You've got Orphic down here dueling Royshal under the tower, putting out some damage. The Ignite's going to come out, which is going to keep Garen from healing back up. Royshal, though, he's got only half his health bar left. And that is going to be the Baron over to the side of Blue Bayou, and Skill-Based is once again getting caught out on the side. Meantime, Kevin getting a nice hook right there, as we do have him catching Red out, but unfortunately for Zishan, you just take way too much damage from Misfortune, and you are going to get completely blasted.
Misfortune is not, or sorry, Caitlyn is not a champion very good at flanking, with Dax waiting in the wings, very well macroed by BBZ to put out the bait of red, looking like pulling a Zishan standing there at the tower alone, but really the Talon is right there to protect him.
Lucky Fridge trying to force them off of this tower, and unfortunately the Baron buff's just allowing them to siege it down so well, because you've got Aurelion hanging out in the backline. We've got the tower getting shut down by Bard right here. That's going to be Roy Shaw finally getting taken out, but they've been fighting Orphic this entire time. And that is going to be the bot lane tower falling, which is going to cause even more pressure to fall into this bot lane turret. Inhibitor turret's going to fall in the mid lane as the rest of the minions just completely obliterate it. And now, unfortunately, we get to the moment where the thing is, in order to create something great, you have to dismantle it and you have to crush it. So it kind of feels like maybe Blue Bayou is like, yes, we are going to appreciate everything you're doing skill-based. We are going to take you out to the best of our ability so that you can once again stand after we have reforged you into something good.
Yep, and after this
very
season,
much the Noxian way.
Very much so. This being the last game of skill-based season, you know, obviously they had a lot of struggles this season, and hopefully they can look at the things that these other teams have been doing and come back stronger next time. They've seen a lot of what other teams are doing macro-wise, and hopefully they can come back stronger. BBZ are going to take this one in only 24 minutes.
This is going to be game, unfortunately. That is going to be a win for Blue Bayou Zoo as they progress off into the playoffs. What a send-off, though. Like, you have to, like, admittedly think, like, just looking at this Blue Bayou draft, it's obvious that they decided, you know what? We're going to come at them with something that's a little unorthodox, but we're going to take this game seriously, and we're going to just try and win this as quickly as we can. And the amount of damage that they were able to put out is just insane. Zishan, though, was able to outclass most of them.
Yeah, Zishan was getting a lot of damage out, but while Zishan was dealing a lot of damage, Zishan was also the one getting picked on, getting cut out in all these fights that allow BBZ to, once they knock down that important piece, it doesn't matter how much damage that Caitlyn did, it doesn't kill anyone, because then you're in a 5v4 situation. And because of the gold lead as well, BBZ were able to keep their foot on the gas pedal and drive this one to a win. We're going to get an interview pretty shortly, so don't go anywhere, and we've got one more game tonight after that.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster Shargan, and I have joining me on the interview desk Tef and Orphic from Blue Bayou Zoo, the Aurelian Soul Space Dragon, and the Basic Man Garen.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Good. It was a fun game. I got to play one of my favorite champions in the game, and I also got to play mid lane, which is always fun.
Yep. I know. It's so like kind of like I was gonna ask you about the draft, but I feel like it's more important to talk about your lane swapping. What was the theory behind that?
So this game just doesn't matter for playoffs, right? So we can like kind of for fun a lot of it. So like we just decided to move people around. Orphic was a top laner in season 3 for Spear, so we just put him there, and then I don't know, mid lane is like probably like one of my worst roles, to be honest, and I don't think I played very well this game, but I don't know, we just moved people around and I ended up mid.
Okay. Hey, well, you obviously played the Aurelian Soul, which is something we have not seen a lot of. Same thing with the Bard. That's another champion we haven't seen quite a bit of. There's very useful in context. However, so like going into playoffs, did you guys kind of figure something out this game that is like, maybe we should take this into the future in order to kind of surprise your opponents?
I don't think it's so much of that. Like, we're not trying to be like toxic and surprise people. Like, oh hey, surprise guys, we're swapping lanes. I think moving forward we're probably going to stay the same. We just wanted to have a little bit of fun after some unfortunate losses the past 2 games, and moving forward, it's kind of just to brush it off and have a fun game, then get back in the right head of mind and move forward into playoffs and beat some dudes up.
Yep, get back into that playoff grind. So I got to ask you then, in that case, who do you guys see as your biggest competition, and like what is y'all's plan? Because I think the first game you're going to end up playing is going to be against Serenity Senate, if I remember correctly. So have you guys already started anticipating what they're going to be pulling out?
Who?
Who?
Okay.
Yeah. Who are we playing? Never heard of him.
I think our biggest competition is Age Block. I think most teams would say that at this point. And while UB does get Jeff back for playoffs, I think that the absence of Jeff has shown like a lot of like places to punish UB outside of like bot lane and stuff like that. So I would say that like as an overall team, I would be more scared of Age Block. I think that team strength wise, they're the scariest for us right now. And then yeah, so the hope is that we would beat a 1499 team, and then play probably like UB, and then beat them and get into finals against like H Block. Like that would be, I think, our ideal for us.
All right, well, we'll have to see exactly how that ends up playing out. Thank you guys so much. You got anything you want to say before I let you go?
No.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
All right, folks. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and...
I was just going to say thank you, Chris Sunga, for, once again, getting everyone together and to put on a great show for a season. I know it's just the end of regular season, but it's very appreciated. We love what you do.
All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, folks. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the last game of our split. So this is going to be a really exciting one. We've got Church of Alfonso versus Universal Basic Income. Don't go away, because this is going to be another hot one.